So, WWE Monday Night Raw emits from Glasgow, Scotland sold out, and the show was okay. It had this entire feeling of unimportance, and it's been a very common feeling on this road to WrestleMania this year, but it wasn't all bad. The John Cena segment at the start of the show was amazing. John Cena has been fantastic as a heel, and I've loved it, and I'm glad we're not making it about The Rock. I know people have been upset about that, but having this heel turn about John Cena be about John Cena and not The Rock is naturally the best decision, and I don't see how people don't get it. Like, The Rock stuff are gonna come around again. We're gonna figure out what happened there. But for now, we're focusing on John Cena and Cody Rhodes. Now, Cody Rhodes comes out and he confronts John Cena, but I've realized John Cena isn't cooking Cody Rhodes on the mic because he absolutely can. And that also makes sense because you want Cody to be the face of the company. And we all know John Cena is capable of. We know he can tear apart anyone on the mic. But letting Cody Rhodes have his shine, have his moment as this face of the company, the savior of WWE, it just makes it feel so much important. I mean, he's facing fucking heel John Cena at WrestleMania. Obviously, you want this guy to be a babyface. You don't want him to look like shit against John Cena. But overall, it was a very hyped way to start the show. I just hope we get some more substance to this soon, because it's been 2 weeks in a row with Cody and John Cena. I would like to see a fight between them next week. But this was a good opener. And the match that followed it was just as exciting. Jey Uso went against A-Town Down Under, and his surprise partner happened to be Jimmy Uso. A lot of people thought it was going to be Joe Henry. It's the first time in over a year and a half that the Usos team up, so it was a really feel-good feeling, and me as a massive Usos fan, I was very happy to see this, and they ended up winning, like, duh. Obviously they were gonna win, but the key thing that happened here was after the match, and this was pretty interesting, as Gunther came out to attack Jimmy Uso, but Jey Uso managed to incapacitate him, and as he was preparing to hit a spear, he slipped, and Gunther took advantage of that. And a lot of people were thinking, is this a botch? What's happening? Jey Uso is horrible. Guys, this is just some key storytelling. Now, a lot of people have been saying last week's botch was also planned. No, it wasn't. He actually botched that shit last week. But this week, they're leaning into it. They're trying to use this to make him more of an underdog. Like, Gunther is this pure wrestling master, and Jey Uso is botching all of his moves. Like, he's not on Gunther's level, and that's the whole story we've been trying to tell. And plus, they're trying to fix what's been happening with that botch and work it into a storyline. And commentary mentioned it, Gunther mentioned it backstage when Jimmy Uso slapped the hell out of him. It's obviously being worked into a storyline. Last week was definitely a botch, this week wasn't a botch. But I do like that they turned this into a storyline because it adds a bit of interest to the storyline. It's been very bland, there hasn't been a lot to it. And especially the build towards WrestleMania, I haven't been too excited about Jey Uso versus Gunther. And this doesn't make me excited about it, but it does add a slight bit of interest for me to see what's gonna happen. Like, is he going to botch a move at WrestleMania because of the storyline? There is some things here that I'm trying to see. Plus, next week we're gonna get Jimmy Uso versus Gunther. Although it's probably just gonna be like Jimmy Uso being squashed by Gunther, like back in NXT when Karrion Kross just absolutely destroyed Dominik Dijakovic and made Keith Lee watch, and Keith Lee wasn't able to do anything. I think they're probably going to do something similar to that, which is great stuff. Another really fun part of the show was the whole El Grande Americano gimmick. I've loved this. People are hating that Chad Gable is not being taken seriously. I don't give a damn. This stupid stuff is why I watch wrestling. It's what's entertaining to me. And Adam Pearce plays a package of them, calling it the Gulf of America. That was really funny, and people are really mad about it. Like, grow up. It's a joke. They're trying to use this get heat for him. Just go with it. And it sets up a match for us where El Grande Americano defeats Dragon Lee. I'm loving this, man. If this leads to a WrestleMania match, I'm very invested in it. This is one of my favorite things going on right now. It's just stupid, entertaining stuff, but that's what I like to see. And Chad Gable is making it work. He's putting effort into it. He's having fun with it, and he's actually trying to make this work, try and get the fans engaged. And that's all you can ask from him. Like, he doesn't need to be taken seriously to be a success. And I'm loving this whole thing. I'm excited to see where it leads to. Now, where the show really started sucking for me is when it came to the women's division. Now, you had a whole contract signing announcement thing with Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, and IYO SKY. And I hate how they're making IYO SKY not be the focus of this, because she's the champion. And if this doesn't lead to her winning and retaining the belt at WrestleMania, this is just this is very awful towards her, and this is like burying her. Not really, burying is a big word, but you get what I'm trying to go towards. She needs to win if this is what we're doing. But next week, she's facing Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship, and Bianca Belair will be the special guest referee. It's very obvious we're getting a triple threat match at WrestleMania. At this point, they're just trying to delay and tell a slight story. Bianca Belair is going to get involved somehow and cost the match, make it a DQ, and it's going to lead to a three-way match, which also wouldn't make sense because Bianca Belair will try to be as fair as possible because you're going to have a better chance at facing one opponent than two. So I don't know how this is going to happen, so it's kind of interesting, but I'm not very invested in this. I feel like there's a bigger story we can tell. This isn't it. And when it comes to the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria defeated Raquel Rodriguez, but then you had interferences from Liv Morgan and Bayley after the match, and we're heading towards a tag team match next week between Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, and the Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, I don't know where this is going to lead. Honestly, Bayley should be facing Roxanne Perez at WrestleMania because they had that thing going on, and Lyra Valkyria and Liv Morgan should face each other for the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match at WrestleMania. I think that's the route to go. But as of right now, we're either going to get Lyra and Bayley for the Women's Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania, or a triple threat match with Liv, Bayley, and Lyra for the Intercontinental Championship. Neither, I think, are really good options, because I'm not really interested in seeing any of that, where the aforementioned matches I mentioned could be really interesting for me. I just feel like Lyra's whole reign has been kind of botched, because instead of giving her solid feuds with lower mid-card women like Ivy Nile, Maxine Dupree, Zoe Starks, she's been bouncing around with feud for 1 week to a feud for another 1 week feud to another 1 week feud, just doing that instead of actually giving her stories with these women. And yeah, being involved with Bayley and Liv Morgan is big for her, but it's not that important when she doesn't feel like the main focus. She doesn't feel like she's the champion. Everybody's chasing that championship. Whereas if she had a feud with, say, Maxine Dupree or Ivy Nile, where they actually want that championship and it's a long-term feud with a story, it would feel much more important, even if the women aren't superstars. Then we get to the main event where Penta is facing Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental Championship, a WrestleMania type match, but you know, Dominic Mysterio interferes and they cost the match. It ends in DQ. A horrible ending to the show. I really think Penta versus Braun Breaker should have just been a clean 20-minute banger of a match. That's what I wanted to see. Unfortunately, I'm not getting that, and you're also not going to get that singles match at WrestleMania, so it's kind of a lost opportunity. But if we're going to get Dominic or Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker and Penta at WrestleMania, it's going to be okay. Too many triple threat matches at WrestleMania, to be honest. I also didn't mention the CM Punk promo because it's things we've seen before. Like, this feud is kind of stale right now. We're not seeing the people interact much. It's kind of boring, honestly. So I'm not talking about that much because there's not really a lot to say. There's not really something for me to add that's going to be worth your while watching. So overall, if I had to give tonight's show a rating, it'd be a solid 7 out of 10. The good stuff vastly outweighed the bad stuff, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't disappointed in some of the stuff. The women's division really needs a fresh bunch of NXT women, who there are lots ready to come to the main roster, to freshen up the Women's Championship and the Midcard Championship, while pretty much all of the men's feuds just need to take a next level, turn that next gear to really get me extremely hyped for that. I don't know what it is, but I'm not the writer here, I'm simply the reviewer telling you what I want to see, and I think all of the men's feuds just need that next gear. So if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. This is my second time covering Monday Night Raw. I primarily cover NXT and TNA, but I'm trying to expand that a bit. So if you're interested in that, let me know what you think. Let me know what I can improve on. And leave a like and subscribe. It will really help me a lot. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Let's get there, please. So thank you for watching. I hope to see you again soon. This has been the Coach's Corner. I'm Coach, and goodbye.